Hey everyone, this is Johnny G and friends from Panavista Records. Tonight we're going to highlight two of our songs. One is called Following a Prayer, and another song that we're going to do is called I Love You Still. But before we get to the songs, we have a very special guest tonight. One of the band members, Mr. Jeremy Caldwell. Hi Jeremy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey JG, great to be with you.
Oh man, it's really good that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here today and talking with us tonight. One of the first things I like to ask you is, when did you start getting into music and getting serious about music, and who were your influences and things of that nature?
Okay, great. I started out on drums. Started really early love for music. Both my parents had good taste. Grew up with a lot of the classics, but started really enjoying music and expressing an interest to play drums. And
yeah, I can't believe that, because this is actually new to me. I
yeah,
didn't know
so
you played drums.
Yeah, from the beginning, the origins where I liked drums. Fortunately, both my parents agreed and got me a drum set, and took a little bit. It wasn't a year, but I probably took a good handful or more of lessons over at the Soundpost.
Did you have any drummers that you listened to on the radio and wanted to follow or be like?
Not really. I think it was meant to be that I would eventually transition to guitar. I just liked rhythm, and that's really transferred over and helped me a lot in my playing and a lot of music that I enjoy. So it gave me a better sense of music as a whole, but wasn't meant to be forever. My passion was certainly meant to be in another instrument. So after about a year of playing and getting pretty competent on the drums as a kid, you kind of get enamored and see guitar players, and the first time you see a cool guy out front,
they're out front, right?
I was immediately drawn to that. And my dad's a guitar player, is multi-instrumentalist, played piano, and so I found myself wanting a guitar, and went through that phase and period where you get your first one, and you start to get some chords down, and again, the drum playing with my rhythm helped me a lot with a lot of timing, so I could get stuff. Other guitar playing buddies at a young age, you kind of compete a little bit.
Any bands that or individual players that you liked?
Not so much then. Probably as it grew, I was of course influenced by a number of classic rock, southern rock, roots rock that my parents were listening to. Always, Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers Band, Marshall Tucker Band.
Three of the greats.
To name a few, and that really kind of hit home with me. A lot of that stuff that was just really good, great rock and roll from the 1970s, and that really transferred onward. Really fell in love with a lot of the Texas blues musicians, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Wow, unbelievable.
You to go back originally to the well that Stevie was pulling from was Jimmy, and
my
love
generation,
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton.
Yeah, Clapton as well, and it's like it turned out, really later I've started to really appreciate British rock and roll, and really kind of go back to the well of those guys, and so a lot of Brit rock and roll kind of hit home with me later on.
So when did you start getting into songwriting?
Well, that I've always been a jammer, always sort of loved melody, and got turned on to harmony a little bit later, but always liked playing riffs. So I would always have, coming over and playing with you, I might always have a new riff available to sort of showcase, and really didn't start composing full songs until I started having creative partners like yourself, and so I always maybe leaned on a full song composition and was inspired by you. Writing songs for myself has always been kind of condensed down and brief to more riffs.
I'd like to let our audience know that I've known you since you were, I think, about a junior in high school, and you and Nick Letsko and were guys that we just in my planning period, free time or lunch,
Blake
during
Porter.
lunch, Blake Porter, man, we would just say, hey, bring your guitars.
Yeah.
And we'd all bring our guitars in, and during lunch period, we would just jam and have fun. And that's kind of where it started,
It did. It was over a 15-plus year
Trevor.
relationship now.
He played a lot. But yeah, it was just one of those things where Trevor Card, it was just one of those things where you sit down and you go, man, I think this guy really likes music as much as I like music. And then it just went from there, just kind of.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that really touches at the heart of like how we've always had fun together. Is that was a really special time, and I was needing a lot of help, we'll say, and kind of like steering my life in a lot of ways, but a little direction. Yeah. And you were that, as well as being just a good friend, and we related so much on music. I mean, I remember, the first tune of yours that I ever tried to play was Drink from the Water, because I just loved the riff, just how it would start, with a nice little, like in the lower register of the guitar, and you're playing, I think at that time, inspired me. So it's funny, you mentioned influences. You are certainly one of my influences.
Appreciate that. Well, the thing is, guitarists, we kind of steal from each other. So we sit around, look around and go, man, how is he playing that? And then just watch your riffs and stuff, and then you kind of take it home and make your own take on it.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, I think they really get that competitive spark from it. It's like you want to one up.
Absolutely.
And that's, something that you certainly have a lot of experience in, as well as athletics, is like you want to play with the people that are better than you, because that makes you better.
Makes you better. Well, one of the things that I enjoyed, and I know you did too, is recording the album Dust Storms in the Great Depression. And you and I write 4 songs on that together. And I really enjoyed our, co-writing together on that. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about how you and I write, which is kind of funny. A lot of people write, every writer kind of writes their own way and has their own little thing about it. But you and I were a little bit different, since you love jamming, and then the way I record, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, so that's really a great topic. Is like the recording process for us has always been, I would come, to you to play. We'd have a song I did a work on, and a lot of times we would begin like a day's session with just a quick little jam up here in the great room. Yeah, and get really
has great acoustics in here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And get really inspired, and then go down with the equipment and do recording. And it's always been a really fun yet tedious process for me at times. Like we were saying earlier, it's like, you've always been one that has a recording style of, you almost like a live recording session that you would...
you can capture that moment.
Yeah, you get the first hit and boom, you got it. And, I've, always may or may not have been happy with the take. I'm like, come on, give me another shot at it. And you're like, no, man, we got it. And
it sounds good. It's great.
Yeah. And I've always enjoyed that creative process, because it forces me to really go for it and try to get what I'm trying to express in the first go.
Well, guys like you and Nick and my son Brett, you guys are so fun to play with, and one of the reasons is you guys are really good musicians. I mean, it doesn't take a bunch or a lot of time when you sit down and you're working on some chord progressions and working on an idea. You guys just go with the flow. You can fit right in and you start playing, and it's it just comes natural to you. But I know it takes a lot of work. That old adage, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? And the answer is practice. And all of us love playing, so we practice a lot. Do you? I would like you to tell our friends here about your career in the rigging industry in concerts. You've done this for years. You started with your dad. You guys may not know this, but Jeremy has traveled all over the world. I mean, he's gone to a number of continents. He's been for years. He's worked with so many bands, scores and scores of big name people that y'all have heard before. And what they do is set up all the equipment and this and that. But I'll let Jeremy tell us about that. Would you tell us when you got into it and a little bit about it, where you've been?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to share. There again, you were a really good influence on me at a time when I really needed it, and kind of was a bit of a hooligan there in high school, and really kind of got myself straightened out. Very fortunate and very blessed. I found an opportunity into the music industry, into the entertainment industry, with working concerts. Started with a local labor company, and I sort of just fell into it. My dad had always done it part-time with his buddies since the early 80s. He was a music activity therapist at a mental hospital here
Really?
at Mox and Ben.
I didn't know that.
So he retired from that after 35 years. So he always did it kind of part-time. And then I just saw it as a job that I could do with not much, qualifications needed other than to just show up and be, kind of like labor ready to just show up and do grunt work. But it was still exciting even at the lowest level.
Well, tell everyone what kind of work it is. What do you do?
Yeah, so it's stagehand work. And then I saw an opportunity to specialize in arena rigging, which is the primary suspension work at a concert. So everything that's hanging in the air has had proper rigging installation by qualified people. And then so I saw an opportunity to sort of learn and hone that craft. And then naturally, when you progress past the local level, is that you can be asked to join tours and specialize and go out with a specific band for their however long the tour is.
So who are some of the people that you've toured with?
Oh man, I've been really fortunate. I toured with the Eagles on the History of the Eagles tour, Shania Twain Rock This Country tour. That one was a really fun one. I've had a great number of supervisors, but one in particular, kind of took me under his wing in early 2011, late 2010, and did a tour that was going Josh Groban. I believe the tour was called Straight to You, and that was my first tour to be his right hand. He knew I was qualified and was just so blessed and so fortunate and lucky to
Did you
get
do
that.
McCartney's at Central Park?
Yeah. So got fortunate enough to see McCartney. That was with a company, really interesting company, that's a international company called Stageco, and they specialized in very impressive outdoor staging structures that were they're temporary outdoor staging structures meant to be put together, set up for the concert, and then taken down. So I got hired onto one of those crews late 2009, and then progressed into doing a couple of their tours and events. And
I know you've done Neil Young.
Yeah, sure. Neil Young, boy, that was great. Got to really appreciate being around an artist that was just such a class act, and really he was
Great acoustic player. And you and I, our band is acoustic.
Yeah.
We do acoustic songs. And people just don't realize, he's a tremendous acoustic guitar player, and to come up with the melodies that he does on the acoustic guitar. I've always loved, the Beatles, and my favorite songs of theirs are really their acoustic songs. Like McCartney has this, a song on London Town, his LP, that he calls I'm Carrying.
Yeah.
And it's just a little song that he wrote for his wife, and it's like, wow, and so I just love that sound.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned your influences, because it's shaped you as a musician.
No doubt about it. And I've written, I've been married 40 years to Janet, and I've written her a ton of love songs. Some we've recorded and some we haven't, you know. But it's just the fun of writing those and the enjoyment of, you know.
Is it hard to be a lyricist? I've always wondered, like, your take on that.
That's really funny because I don't consider myself much of a lyricist, really. You know, I write simple songs and songs that, you know, from the heart, though. I try to write stuff that will touch you. You know, that when you listen to the song, I want it to have a good feeling or some kind of nice feeling, you know, that you get from it. And a lot of them are love songs and this and that. But the music always comes first.
Yeah.
The melody and the music, and then the words come after that.
That's such an interesting process. And, like, I can relate to, you know, the musical aspect and getting a melody and a hook, you know, stuck in your head. And it's like, oh, I got to get this out. And then you come up with a nice arrangement, and it feels so nice. But the lyrics have always been a total mystery to me. And, like, that's always, you know, in our partnership with writing songs, it's like you've totally carried that on your back for, you know, this many years. And it's like,
well, and sometimes a thought will just hit you. Your brain will just say, hey, you know, it's this particular subject matter, and then you kind of put some words in associated with that.
Do you ever hear phrases like somebody will say something and it's just like, oh man, that's a song right there?
You know, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm sure I have, you know, like the old adage is nothing's original, you know.
Sure.
It's been done before. You hear it somewhere, and it's just, again, it's more just personal. You know, we write songs, and I think you would agree with this. When we sit down and write, like we've already been playing in the studio here for an hour, you know, just having fun. Mm-hmm. We just enjoy, I know I do, I know you do too. We enjoy just listening to the music, to sit down and play and write, and what is. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
And
it's very organic when it comes together.
It's not really intended for everyone else. I never really have had that intention that this is for anyone else to listen to, with the exception of my friends and family, you know, that I sit around and, hey, well, you want to hear this? You know what I mean? That's how it goes. And Jonny G and Friends has just been a really nice outlet for all of us to get together and put it together on CDs and have some songs, and hopefully other people, we hope that they like it and enjoy the music too, and that's cool, you know.
Yeah, you can't help but, like, want and love, get real, you know, kind of get a good kick out of the idea of somebody listening to something that you made and enjoying it. And, like, yeah, you don't always think about it when you're being creative, is, you know, what other people are going to think about this. But there's something in the back of your mind that always thinks, you know, man, this would be great if somebody else got an enjoyment out of this.
Absolutely. I mean, because life's short, and if you're having a happy moment and feeling, you know, good about something, and you like to spread the love, you know, and share with others, and hope that they have that same enjoyment too.
Yeah. So
I really appreciate you coming today.
I love it.
Fantastic. Being a part of the band is big, and, you know, you and I we've been friends for over 15 years now. Yeah. And it's just been really fun, and I enjoy the creativity that you bring to the table every time we're together. And more importantly, I enjoy the friendship. It's just been great. So
me too. Hopefully this is the first of many podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tonight, let's talk a little bit about the two songs. The first one is I Love You Still, and that was a love song that I wrote for Janet. And you played just a tremendous guitar on that. I loved it.
Thank you. I'm really proud of that.
It's one of those simple songs that we sit down and you go, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, this special person, and I'm singing this song to her, and you captured that feeling with the acoustic on the lead part. What do you feel about that song?
I think I was, you know, kind of in a really good place for that one to sort of come together in that same light of, you know, expressing a deep love for somebody. Your lyrics are certainly centered around that. And for me, it was just a really pretty melody. I remember it being, for the guitar people out there, you'll recognize this, just sort of capoing up, getting into that higher registry, and really enjoying the chords, sort of how they went together. The finger picking felt right. The recording felt right. It just came together really well. So the melody, your accompanying guitar licks, I really enjoyed. I like the track that I did.
We both did a couple of tracks with guitars, I think.
Really came together, and got the hook right, and really sort of set in motion that melody for a good song, and set it up good for your lyrics that you put down. And your voice has always been something that's inspired me. I definitely feel good mentioning that. And this first one is, you've got a great voice.
And so the next one, I appreciate that. And the next one that we did was more in tune to the way we record. It was kind of funny. We were telling everyone at the beginning of this podcast that, we enjoy just kind of sitting around and playing. Well, sometimes when we're in the studio, we'll turn it on and just play it. We'll play the song first that we were just kind of creating moments before, and then we'll say, hey, let's just turn on the equipment and let it go and see what we have. And Following a Prayer is one of those songs. I mean, we just played it, recorded it, and went with it. But I'm not sure you were extremely happy with that. But tell us a little bit about that song. It's called Following a Prayer.
Following a Prayer was, a couple of licks we had put down, and, like we touched on, I've had a traveling schedule over the years. So a lot of times I would be coming in and out of town,
right,
and not be fresh on the work that we had done the last session. And you've always stuck with that and carried a lot of the songs through, my, kind of in and out schedule. And I've always appreciated that. But like that one, I had not remembered how well we had gotten some of the stuff until we were listening to it with Luke. And
Luke Johnson, who owns Eden Studio. What a great guy, man.
Yeah, that was a real
treat.
Great
producer also.
Great setup. We were sitting there, of course, had all the tracks broken down and ready to compile. And I remember listening to it thinking, man, we did a good one on that one, and being really surprised.
It was fun.
It was so much fun. Yeah, absolutely.
It was, again, capturing the moment of when you're recording, and that's the fun about live.
That's the magic.
Yeah, the magic of live stuff. Well, anyway, everyone, we really appreciate you listening in today to our podcast. And all of us, Jonny G and friends, thank you so much for your support and help. And we hope you have a great time listening.
Following I've been walking in the blistering rain. It feels like every road's the same. Maybe one day I can find my way back home. There ain't enough days in a lifetime to tell you how I really feel. I'm gonna keep on living till I'm weary. I love you still. And I've been thinking about the things we've said and all the love that's running through my head. And every heartbeat brings me home to you. There ain't enough days in a lifetime to tell you how I really feel. Gonna keep on living till I'm weary. I love you still. There ain't enough days in a lifetime to tell you how I really feel. I'm gonna keep on living till I'm weary. I love you still.